Okay, that's live. We'll go here. We're going to continue working with our scrap blanket today. Got some vibes, some, synthwave. Got my buddies stream up in the background. And yeah, we're gonna continue just chilling. Just gonna continue, just chill and work on vibing, hanging out, and nothing stressful. It's been a long couple days back, long couple, 2 days back at work. I'm already regretting that I am no longer on vacation. But yeah, no, is it just me, or does it feel like now that spring is here, everyone just like, I don't know. It feels like there's 50,000 more people on the road and none of them know how to drive. And it's a little obnoxious. But let's see if I can pull up my stream over here. So I have that going in the background. I can chill. Welcome in. Welcome in. Just hanging out and, continue to work on turning all of these little teeny tiny squares into a scrap GAN. That's what I'm calling it because I'm clever with names or something like that. Are we gonna cooperate or are you just gonna break? Okay. Technology. Gotta love it. Or the internet's gonna decide, nah, we ain't gonna watch anything else. But I spent my day at work making some more squares. I like doubled what I had in here. But, I'm productive. But again, my machine at work, I press play and we're good to go. We're attempting to continue to use multicolored, but I probably not going to have enough multicolored to keep going with the one diagonal row of multicolored, one diagonal row of solid. So it's going to just be let's just not put colors next to each other. Ugh. Is this gonna? Nah. Okay. That's just gonna be broken, so we won't have that pulled up. Maybe I'll uh okay. Technology is not my friend right now. Some of these squares I ended up finishing off a little different, so they are a little more obnoxious trying to get into like the back loop of the stitches, trying to get them together. So it's like, oh, sure, eeny, meeny, miny, that one. But as I continue to, it's a never ending process of learning just different techniques, different, like, oh, I could do this that way and it makes a lot more sense. Or, oh, it looks really pretty that way. But any sort of craft trade, you never stop learning because you'll always pick up a new technique or it'll be a random, like, oh, I never thought about doing it that way. Or it'd be like, oh, yeah, well, I can just, hide it a lot easier if I just tuck it in there. Um, no. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna start grabbing whatever one I grabbed first that is not touching the same color. Because then the whole point of this blanket is to not buy more yarn, but to use up the yarn that is taking up space in my shed. I don't even know what I did there. That's half the fun of these sorts of projects is you just make it up as you go. struggle with a silver Sharpie, which I know all too well. I just have to comment. Uh, I don't even know where I joined this. You can tell where I used the last little bit of one color of yarn. It is what it is. Gonna make every single one of these that I make completely unique. This is some pretty cool music. Never listened to this before in my life, but it's some good, like, general background crafty music. I feel like I'm walking outside of like a 1950s diner, like an 80s. I think 80s. Let's try you again if you're gonna cooperate. Yeah. This is a problem if you cut the tails too short, where you get the little bit sticking out. But again, it adds character to the blanket. Oh, hey, look, it cooperated. Fantastic. So let's search. Let's search for me. If I can like remember how to use the hey, look, there I am. Fantastic. We're gonna pull that up. We're gonna mute that. And that'll be fantastic. Okay. Hopefully this will cooperate. There we go. Woohoo! Okay. Next square. I think we need, nope, that one is literally right there. Of course, the one I pick out. No, I don't want to put that. That works. No, that's too close. We'll go, no. Analysis paralysis. Yeah, throw a black one in here. Four. I'm gonna turn that off. Let me answer this email that popped up real quick. Is that not Easter? That's Easter. No. I gotta figure. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go to a rehearsal out in all the way out there. No. No. No, sorry. That's not gonna work for me. Stop trying to. I have my one group that I perform with, and other than that one group, I don't really like playing with too many other groups, especially since the one group that I'm yeah, no. Nope. If it wasn't a half-hour drive, it's not when I have full groups. Mom's first bowling score. It is pretty amusing how my family has like our default responses to things, and me and my dad have very similar generic responses. Okay, great, nice, cool. The one word responses. Just the, yeah, no, I'm not. Yes, I acknowledge your message, but it's not something I need to answer with a full conversation. Yeah, that one's not going to be perfectly square, but whatever. Uh, sure. We had first rehearsal of the new music last night, and I we played Sorcerer's Apprentice for the first time, and I managed to make it through that the whole, at least the first iteration of it, and I'm like, hey, I did it. I didn't horribly like screw it up. Oh. Gotta reach and grab my water bottle. And my snack. These things are delicious. But since I'm always like, I don't eat. winners. Whatever. It's all being attached. Mm. And I'm throwing squares on the floor. was almost very bad. As I brandished my scissors. Ugh. And we're back. This section. Oh. As I stand up and shift my position a little bit, as I almost fall off my chair. Okay. So let's see. This is 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, 36. Almost there. That was fun. And back to the beginning to do it all over again. I gotta say, even though I'm not directly in like a call, having my buddies stream up, it's nice. It feels like there's another person here. It feels like it's a group thing, even though it's just me alone in my room. But it's like, so I'm very much an introvert, and I much prefer like not necessarily directly interacting with a lot of people, but there is a difference between having a person in the room and not having a person in the room. And it's just one of those, it's nice to have that other person. And eventually he mentioned it in his chat that we'll try and do a co-op stream or something. The stream together or some sort of multi-stream like that. Maybe we could figure out a project to collaborate on. That'd be pretty cool. and switch. Check, see if there's any important messages that Discord's yelling at me about. There's not in the slightest. We're gonna lower this. No, okay. I felt like I was off by one again. I'm not. I'm just. So we have inspection day for the race car starting this Saturday and then next Saturday. Put the cars in one piece and she runs. So it's really all we can hope for. Welcome in, welcome in. Just hanging out. I hate allergies. I absolutely hate allergies. Oh, I feel like I'm constantly dying when spring happens. Welcome in. We're just hanging out, listening to some, cool music and just working on scrap busters. My scrap gan, as I'm going to call it. Just joining up all the tiny squares into one larger, you know, nice little throw blanket. Welcome, welcome. Sitting here working on my lovely mosaic, you know, nonsense blanket. I know I don't have any of the fun, chat rewards yet, but hey, I've only been doing this for a couple weeks. But why are there police sirens in this music? I don't I don't even know what I'm listening to. Hello. What is this? Oh, well, we're gonna skip that. Sure. Anyways, um, I seriously need more green, but I got some green yarn, and that's what I'll work on tomorrow at work. Because I don't work on my actual job. Why would I do a thing like that? But everything's pretty much programmed. I just gotta turn on the machine, press play, and let it go, and just keep an eye on in case I get an error or anything. And most of that time, it's like kick something and you know get it to cooperate again. Because unfortunately, the giant laser machine I use at work is reaching the point in its life cycle where it's like, oh, now is the time when all the parts start going bad. But does the company want to listen? No. So I have to hold it together with duct tape, bubble gum, and prayer. And of course, since it's a fancy German machine, good luck trying to figure out what any of the error messages mean. Because half the error messages are in German, and I'm like, I don't, I don't German. I barely English half the time. Although I did Google the one phrase that pops up all the time. Don't ask me to pronounce it. I can't. But it basically translates to don't do anything. Which it's okay, great. So how do I get rid of the error? Hello? Where? Some of this yarn is obnoxious. And that's why it's being used in these squares. Oh, no, so I program and operate a sheet metal laser cutter for a big HVAC manufacturing company, and it's one of those. It's one of those like giant room sized machines, and for the most part the errors are, you know, oh, don't touch anything, or it'll say half the error in English and half of it in German. So I'm just like, I, I give up half the time. So it's, if there's actually a problem that I can't figure out, I go, nope, sorry, you don't pay me enough to figure this out, and I'll tell them to call tech support for me. So yeah, and it's just because half the time it's trying to figure out, okay, is it a metric or an SAE like wrench that I need? And okay, you told me what the problem is. You didn't tell me where the problem is. So now I have to crawl around and roll around in all this laser dust to try and find it. But for the most part, it's just a, it's like when your cars, you know, oh, you start needing to replace like serious parts because the, you know, yeah, okay, you've kept up with the oil changes and regular maintenance, but nah, at this point the transmission's gonna go, the engine's gonna need to be replaced, and you're just like, no, 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 we're done with this. Yeah, it's one of those fancy $500,000 or no, $1 million lasers, and I am the entire department that runs it at work. But at least the rest of the company has learned, if I'm not there, don't touch it. Because I was on vacation uh, last week, and they panic every time I try and take off because there's not a single other person in that company that knows how to program that machine. Oh, but what if the customer needs a special order? They can wait. I'm human. I'm entitled to breaks. Uh, what color do we want to do next? Sure. This one works. Yeah, it's less, even like I don't even ask, oh, can I take this time off? I tell my direct boss, no, no, I am taking this time off. And since y'all took away my work phone, guess what? You can't call me. So don't touch the machine, because even if you're on the phone with tech support, you'll still manage to break it. I went out of state on vacation one time, and my boss's boss had the audacity to ask me, oh, are you going to take your laptop with you? No, no, I'm not, because I'm on vacation. So I just maliciously comply to all of their demands. So they also, like, there are designated people to talk to me at work because I don't put up with like any of their nonsense. So it's, if the production people need to talk to me, my direct boss talks to me. If one of the like R&D people needs to talk to me, they send the head of QA. I'm like, I'm not that scary. Just because I have access to, a giant laser and I can manufacture sharp, pointy things, don't annoy me, and I won't throw things at you. That's what happens when I'm a girl working surrounded by men. They all panic. See, I am scary to the point where my direct boss will, like, before he asks me anything, he immediately pulls out his wallet to give me coffee money. So that's why even with the amount of chaos and bullshit that goes on there, it's 10 minutes from my house, and I sit there and I work on these stupid little squares all day. So I sit there, I press play on the machine goes, and I'm sitting there like this, just making all of these squares. So I can get away with a lot, including making all sorts of charms and stuff out of like the extra scrap that we would have no use for. Because I make like these little metal stainless steel charms. I make them on my laser at work. It's out of scrap that I wouldn't use. So I have those. I have teeny tiny kitty cats that if I can get it in the camera angle. Oh, absolutely. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to use this at work. Or for anything for work. Teeny tiny teddy bear. I can get the light to reflect on it. Use up the extra scrap because I can get like 100 of those on a small little square that I need that material to make giant parts. What are they gonna do? Fire me? Not likely. Plus, they all ask for things too. They'll be like, oh, I need to make a present for my girlfriend. Can you help? I can, but what's in it for me? That's why I also haven't had to buy liquor in pretty much the entire time that I've worked there, which is almost is 6 years. It'll be 7 this August. I think that's what I'm up to at this point. Can't remember. The days all blur together. We'll throw a red one in here now. No, it keeps me busy, and it's I love that ability to create something out of like, oh, I can think it up, I can create the patterns and stuff, and then physically have it in my hand. Yeah, yeah, no, this is a private company, so it's you know we were family owned for like the first 2-3 years that I worked there, and then now we have a corporate, and I don't know, everything's just, oh, it's changing for the better. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath. I'm still waiting on that office I was promised 2 years ago. But there's pros and cons to everything. Again, I get to go home for lunch. Oh, yeah. Better for the company because we're all one big team. I'm like, uh-huh. So tell me what my job responsibilities are. Not a single person has a clue. HR can't even tell you. And don't even get me started. HR departments in general are like, in my opinion, HR is the worst department because they don't have a clue what actually goes on. And I've even flat out called out the new president or whatever his official position is. I'm like, yeah, what are you going to do to ensure that one person doesn't have too many job responsibilities? Oh, we're gonna, it's real important that people don't get overworked. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You say the pretty words. Back it up with actions. But they never do. Yeah. No, and that's why I said most of the time, or in my head at least I said most of the time, but there's a very strong anti-union sentiment, at least in my company. I think at one point there was a union and it didn't go well for anybody, and therefore it is basically like I don't even know what our HR department does except like stick their nose in where it really doesn't belong. Yeah, exactly. That is basically what my current HR is, because they like to be like, oh yes, we know, you know. But I'm like, I literally wrote up what would be the job posting for like an assistant to my position, and then they posted a job listing for a completely different position with the same title. I'm like, this is none of the things that I said was required. You don't know what I do. That's okay. They kind of just made up my job because I got hired to do IT, and then I was voluntold that the laser is now my problem. So I do what I want with it. Exactly. Voodoo magic. That is pretty much. I'm like, don't ask how. Just accept that it works. It's what I say about my yarn a lot of times. It's yarnomancy. Don't ask questions. Because trust me, you really don't want those answers. But this music is giving very much like Final Fantasy vibes. It is. Okay. I'm not crazy. That crazy. I am crazy, but I'm like, I'm getting some serious Final Fantasy vibes from this. Hello, do we want to cooperate? This is one problem when crocheting things together as opposed to just sewing them together. Sometimes the hook doesn't want to go through the loop you want it to go through, but it is what it is. This one works. This is where having a pointier crochet hook helps when trying to insert into a loop that is tighter, but with enough persuasion, anything will cooperate. Just did a red one. Yeah, we'll go with this one now. In the future, I'd love to be able to do like pixel art, like Afghans like this. But the amount of planning and like, oh yes, let me make sure I'm going in the right direction with the right colors here and there. I've done like corner to corner crochet and it is tedious. But at least with this, it'd be like, okay, let me make, 700 of this color and 500 of this color. And it'd just be a matter of actually sewing them or crocheting them together in the right order. But that's a problem for future Kuzzle. Let's see, what is Mom Bowl now? Oh, even better. Fantastic. Got to give my trademark 1 of 3. Oh, absolutely. The calculators I've used Excel for like figuring it out. I just make the squares or the cells be like a square and I'll just use like a different letter and have that automatically change to a color. It's just the matter of I have to like think about keeping a track of it. And what I'll actually usually do, I'll print it out and then put it in a binder sleeve and then use a dry erase marker to mark off the like squares that I've done. I just made a bunch of colors. Why do I feel like I don't have enough colors in here? There's not enough variations. We'll go with this one. There are so many tools nowadays, especially since the diamond painting like took off. That there's so many like, oh yeah, here use this like protractor or T-square in order to keep your spot and get all the pieces directly lined up. I have a bunch of diamond paintings on my wall in the back corner that you can't really see because the light. I don't have my room light, but it's up in that back corner. I have a bunch of them that I've done. You know what? I'm gonna leave that like that because now my camera doesn't have that like awkward white glow above it. I'm still making up all of this stuff. I think this is like my not even my 10th stream yet. The other thing that to look at would be like if I looked at some like cross stitch patterns or even like the rug hook or latch hook, whatever you want to call it. Because those all work in a grid to create the pattern. So that would at least help with either coming up with designs or tracking the designs. There are so many. There's an infinitely possible way. Infinitely possible. I swear I know how to English. To many different ways to accomplish the same thing. This is what happens when I've been up since 5:30 in the morning. The brain stops functioning somewhere around 7 o'clock. Yeah, we'll slap a red one in right here. It would be interesting to see how annoying, I guess the word would be, to do this with the crochet thread or the like friendship bracelet strings, because that would make this stuff pretty tiny. But while it would be probably like, 4 times the amount of squares I would need to make, I'd be able to get better details if I were to do like, some sort of like video game sprite or something. I'd have to do a test run and be like, yes, if I do with this yarn and this hook, then I need this many to make the full size, because this is about, so let's see, where is it? This This is half, not that not that this is a very good camera angle here. This edge here is about like half of the width, and it'll be a little bit longer. But this would also be a fun like shawl, because it has the cool waves going on the back of it. That it's a fun little like, ripple texture to it. But this side, you get the nice even, almost like puffed tiles. Oh god, it's always the worst when you tangle your yarn. Yeah, and that's based off of the way that this is being assembled, because I'm adding each new square in this step pattern. That's what creates the ripples on one side, and it makes it fun, especially for like a blanket, because it'd be like, yes, let's just display it on this side, and then you get that added sort of like gradient of whatever colors I use to attach it all together. Like I had a bunch of purples down here, then I went to a lighter purple, and now I have this hot pink that I'm using. It's reversible, or whatever other marketing buzzword you want to use. It's a good use for all those like teeny tiny balls of yarn that it's like, this is never going to be enough for any sort of project. So let's turn it into a bunch of squares and add it to the collection to use in the blanket. And this way, every single blanket is unique. So everybody can claim, oh yes, it's one of a kind. If we want to be fancy and chic or something. I don't do fashion. Case in point, I'm wearing like a 15-year-old sweatshirt that I got from college. Is it 15? No, not quite 15. At least 10 years old though. I'm like, hold on, when did I graduate college again? Ugh. It just seems like as the years have gone by, time just keeps moving faster and faster. And it's crazy. Sure. Yeah, unless you happen to be like, live in Australia or something where it's already Wednesday. And don't get me started on this whole daylight savings time. Like, who agreed that we're just a chunk of the year gonna jump an hour one way or the other? It's like everyone collectively decided to do the time warp. Although, if you've ever watched TV when the time, like, on daylight savings time. Okay, no, see that is fair, and it has fallen for me. I was selling at a gaming convention in Maine when we gained the extra hour, and let me tell you, if you're ever watching TV when the hour of like 1 a or 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. repeats itself, it gets a little funky because for whatever reason it is when you lose the hour, it goes from 1:59 a.m. to 3 a.m. And when you gain the hour, it goes from 2:59 a.m. to 2 a.m. And it is that's when they air the weird things on TV. I miss being able to go to the LARPs. Even if I really didn't really like participate in a lot of the questing of it, I just enjoyed the yes, here's a weekend that I can hang out with like-minded people and we can all be weird together. Okay, I'm gonna finish this row and then I think I'll call it for tonight because my eyes are starting to go funny. But I can definitely make it to the end of this row of squares. Yeah, especially when I'm trying to find the loops in like this square here. I'm like, huh? because it's multiple. This one is like two strands of yarn twisted together. So it's like, what am I looking at? But again, allergies on top of being up since 5:30. Definitely at this point, I'm like, yeah, yeah, no more brains. And of course, I don't want to have like another monster now because then I'll be up until 2 a.m. And that's not what we want. We don't want to stay up until 2 in the morning. At least not tonight. Friday night, maybe. That would definitely be an interesting thing. Let's just keep crocheting until my hands stop like functioning properly or my eyes go crazy. That or drunk crocheting. Because I can do it. It's just a lot slower than what I normally work at. These sort of projects are always fun and it's almost like a scrapbook of like, ah yes, I bought this yarn for this project and I bought this yarn for this project and I bought this yarn because I it was a really pretty color, but I never had enough of it to do anything with. do you manage to loop yourself around like that? It's like the yarn has a mind of its own sometimes. And I'm like, how did you get so tangled up? Or why are you halfway across the room? You were a contained ball. Why did you run away? I don't think I have any of this bright pink squares. I do have like a pink, but not that same pink. So I think after this row, we'll switch to use a different color for assembly purposes, and I'll use some of the obnoxious pink to make some squares too, just to really cover the full spectrum of the rainbows. I ended up off by one again. Oops. This is like some boss battle music, or at least like a prelude to a boss battle music. And I don't know if this is sad, but I can still be like, ah, yes, this is Red Heart Super Saver Blue. This is Red Heart Super Saver Turqua. This is Red Heart Super Saver Aruba Sea. And I can still name these colors, and I haven't seen the labels in years. I'm like, yeah, yeah. How to say you have a craft problem without saying you have a craft problem? But considering that was the brand of yarn I used for a lot of my projects, uh, I got really familiar with the Red Heart yarn color names. But now Michael's switched to carrying. They still have some Red Heart, but the selection's a lot more limited, and they have the Impeccable. The loops and thread is what their primary carry, because that's, I believe, their own brand of yarn. So it gets a little annoying trying to match a color, but most of the time you can at least get it close enough. I'm throwing things again. We want an orange. Okay. Orange. Probably throw another bright blue one. Obnoxious blue. And one more. We'll go with the multicolored one. finish off that row. And that is another row done. As my hook jumps off of my desk. So at the moment, it makes a very nice sort of lap blanket. Here, let me switch over to this camera, make it a little easier to show the full scope. But at this point, it would make a very nice little, like, shawl, even though it's a bit stiff for that. But I have the stitch marker on one of these sides right here. Mark out. This is the halfway width. Yeah, I've been working on it for a bit, but I believe this is... If my squares line up, I am 3/4 of the way through the width of it. Oh yeah, throw it through one wash with fabric softener and it'll loosen up. It's because most of this is acrylic yarn, so it starts off like decently sturdy and then it softens. But that I need to make more colors because they're all like browns and cream and light neutral colors. So that's why I'm going to take the bright obnoxious pink and shove that in the bag that I'm taking to work tomorrow. But I have some bright obnoxious pink, some bright green because I have like no green in there. I have this like, what is the technical color? Blue moon. Then I have some purple, some more of the bright blue, and some more red to make these squares. Keep my hands busy so I don't throw things at my coworkers. Because, you know, workplace policy and whatnot. Anyways, I'm going to call it there for tonight. Thank you for hanging out. I'll be back Friday night, somewhere between 6:37, 7:30-ish, depending on when I actually am like, yes, I ate. Now I can go stream. But I hope to see you again in future streams. Thank you for hanging out, and see you later. Bye-bye.